welcome to another episode of Anderson Ad Break. I'm your host, Maddie.
And I'm Sam. On this very special episode of Anderson Ad Break, we are celebrating our 20th anniversary, and we are bringing our agency founder and president, Ted Anderson, back to Anderson Ad Break. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ted, for being here. So as we were gearing up for 2025, we were informed that this year was your 20th anniversary for Anderson. How does that make you feel?
It's a little surreal to kind of think about it. We've been doing this for so long, for like 2 decades, and it still hasn't quite hit me. I've had a lot of friends and family and people that are going, congrats and all of that. But it's still, it's amazing. It's humbling. Super proud of what we've accomplished and everyone that's been part of that success, and all those with the employees, the clients, things like that. So it's just lots of reflection back on what we've done. Obviously, we're doing a lot of content and blog posts and things like that. So it makes me kind of think back on kind of everything, remembering some things and good times and not so good times.
No, and I bet it also makes you appreciate everything that you went through to get this agency started, and all, going and reflecting on all the ups and downs must be a really special journey for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had two partners when I first started, Jeff and Michelle, and we kind of started off on a shoestring, and we had 2 employees basically at that point. Wow. And so there were 5 of us in this tiny little office down in close to Central Phoenix, and grew to another bigger office in Scottsdale, and then now we're 18 employees, and we own our own building and we have our own space, and clients have come and gone. Some have been with us from the very beginning, like Harkins Theaters and almost Desert Financial Credit Union's been part of our long-term success, and so it's been a good time.
Awesome. Well, we prepared something special for you today to kind of help facilitate and guide this conversation to celebrate the amazing 20 years of Anderson. So I went full on stalker mode and I scanned Anderson socials. So I have prepared this special folder for us today to go through, and I'm going to be showing you several images on a page, and I just kind of want them to help spark memories, and so we can talk about everything Anderson, and probably you can explain some of these photos, because some of these photos I was like, what is going on here? All right, let me open the special folder.
So you've got this one ad that we did. I met Jeff and Michelle through work that we were doing for the Phoenix Film Festival. I was the board president of the film festival at that point, and Jeff and Michelle were doing the creative posters and things like that. And so that's how I met them. We did an ad kind of launching what we were doing. Back then we were called MMA Advertising. And so we just had this photo shoot, did this ad, it kind of launched us out, and that was it. And then so we had a really fun time. Jeff and Michelle were great. They both kind of went on to other opportunities, and be forever grateful of them being part of the launch of this. Kind of funny, we ended up starting to get calls about mixed martial arts.
I read that in your blog, and I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, we kept getting calls for it. And it just was one of those things where it was really, at that point, I was the only founder left, and it's just naturally kind of went to Anderson, and that was it. And then, I like to have little mantras and things like that. So we have some artwork around the wall that I actually bought in London. Some things called like "Don't Say Nothing" and "Work Hard and Be Nice to People." Just other things like think of your own ideas and ask more questions.
Yeah, and we have those pictures. I'm looking at them right now, and outside the podcast room, we still have some of those out there by the printer.
And we've got, when we built out our office in the building here, we added some quotes and things like that around, just inspirational quotes about things that are printed on the walls. And then we have, our different conference rooms are named after, creative, inventive people like Edison and the Wright and Franklin and just people that we kind of I'm inspired by, I'll say. And then we've had, what else is it here?
So that is a picture of your first building, is that correct?
That was our second office on Scottsdale Road. Yeah, that was the entrance actually, off the hallway there. That was a great office. It was close to my house.
Yeah, that's always great.
which was great. We grew from, I think at that point we had like 7 employees, and that's kind of grew up to the 15 point, and maybe even more than that. And then yeah, in 2015 we bought our building and were able to build out kind of exactly what we wanted, which was awesome,
Right.
and super fun.
And that's the install right there of the 5800.
Yeah, that was the install of the kind of monument that's out in front of the building. Still there.
Still there.
Yep,
See it
still
every
there.
day.
Yep. And what else we got here?
So-
My little icon emoji. One of our great creative directors, Jason Gonzalez, is a super talented illustrator, and he drew icons, little cartoon characters for each one of our kind of key employees and things like that. Yeah, 2017, certainly super proud being Ad Person of the Year for the Phoenix Ad Club, the American Ad Federation here.
Yeah, great accomplishment.
Yeah, that was really again super humbling, and I mean we have an amazing community of ad agencies and ad people here in town, and the people that are just legends that have gotten that award in the past. So just to be part of that group is really special.
Yeah, and thinking like when you moved here in 1995,
Yeah.
that in 20 years later you would be getting Ad Person of the Year. That just shows like all the hard work and dedication over the years pays off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
Super
I was really proud to work with the Ad Club for a long time. And, we built the agency to a really great place, and we were working on just all kinds of fun and awesome brands. And, I think also that award goes to kind of the leadership that you have in the community, which that's always been part of my, how do we cultivate more people wanting to get into the industry? How do we, recognize the talent that's here in town? How do we, encourage people looking at Arizona and Phoenix in general as a place to, build their careers, and also even clients to look at agencies that are here in town. Yeah. So it was a humbling award.
Oh,
to me.
amazing.
Yeah. When we started this, and I talk about this in the blog piece, Anderson really is a result of the internet. And I'll just say it back there. My former career, the agency I was running here in Phoenix, we were servicing Phoenix, Vegas, Tucson with actual ads. And I think people take for granted, like back then, that you really, we send things so easily by text and email right now, and uploading to FTP sites and things like that. Back then when I started in Phoenix, there was no internet. I had one email address for my entire office, and that was like a dial-up AOL account kind of thing. And it just was, so it just started evolving. And then once I saw, like in 2005, I saw the internet really like taking over and what was happening, and we could send ads via electronically, things like that. Because we literally had physical tapes.
So would you drive 2 hours to like Tucson if you were delivering like a billboard ad or something?
We'd FedEx it basically.
Oh, FedEx it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you'd FedEx it to other cities and things like that. But we had like little physical like radio tapes like that were on a reel, and and a big, basically a beta was a cassette for the TV spots that would go out. And so as the electronic stuff started happening, I started realizing like, you don't really need to have an office in all these different cities and things like that. And I knew the agency I was working for at the time was already kind of talking about consolidating. And so that's what sparked me to say, I think it's time for me to try my own. And I had already built some clients into the agency here locally that were my clients that I had built in. And so it was a matter of being able to kind of start off with a couple clients. So there was some foundation there, and just kind of went from there. But as soon as I left that agency, they basically scaled the whole office down to just like the PR aspects of what that office does, and took what I was doing and moved it to California. And it was like, so it was definitely the writing on the wall.
Was it a pretty like fast switch? Did you notice like agencies being like, oh, we need to hire media people, like we need to hire people that know about the internet? Was that like a pretty like?
No, I mean, even back then, digital wasn't a thing. We weren't we weren't even, there wasn't even social platforms. I think MySpace was like the big social platform. Right?
Yeah, that was the only one.
Yeah. And it was like, and I remember the conversations having about it. Should we get involved with Facebook? Should we start looking at that? And back then, Facebook, you couldn't do anything unless you were a college student. And so, as those kind of platforms started moving, and then Google was building and search advertising and things like that, and I remember the days of going to all of our clients and going, hey, this is a thing you need to start, you need to start investing in being present on these platforms. And, now it's probably half our business is digital.
It's kind of like, I like it, but what is it?
Yeah.
Like the picture we have on.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things of the 20 years that's really fascinating is to think back about the transition and evolution of things that we've gone through, and where our clients, where they are now, and what we've helped them get used to and help them, introduce into their marketing strategies. And, I think that's one of the things I I've been thinking about lately a lot is like kind of where we were and where we are now and where we're going. What's it going to be like where we're going?
And it's crazy to think about because 20 years really isn't that much time, but you've seen the whole digital progression and you've worked in it. So you were there all the way from when everything was just billboards and having to literally FedEx different radio spots and billboards, and you've seen the whole progression. So what was that like working and being in it?
I mean, you didn't really know it was happening. I remember literally meeting with a salesperson introducing the Macintosh computer and how to do graphic design on a computer. Because prior to that, you were doing images and typesetting on these big giant machines and stacked cameras that would make a printout that would go to the newspaper or the magazine and things like that. And so, you saw this evolution of having, okay, now rather than having this like kind of cut and paste with like razor blades and tables, and everything's getting done on the computer, and you're starting to send things via hard disk, and now it's all just transmitted and things like that. And so, but I think it just goes a little bit to just part of our just culture and society of like, what has happened with the technology and TV and how people watch TV and how people consume their media and get their information and all those kinds of things. And it was a much simpler time back in the early 90s when I started, and now to where it is, it's just so fragmented and everyone has so many different ways of getting their information, and you live your life on your phone and all those kinds of things. So I think it's been super fascinating to watch that happen and evolve and help the clients adapt to that and evolve with it and grow that. So I think when I think back about my life and what we've done, it's been kind of fun to see how much things have changed.
Mm-hmm. They've changed so much. And going on to our next section, you mentioned our clients. So we have some throwbacks. So picture 2 is all about our clients. So our first one, do you want to tell us about this top image?
Yeah, this is definitely a highlight. I mean, working with Alice Cooper, our longtime client and just a little part of our family. Desert Financial Credit Union used to be called Desert Schools. And so we got the project and the challenge with them of doing a launch spot that was going to run in the Super Bowl. And it was going to basically be the announcement of them changing their name from Desert Schools to Desert Financial. And so what better theme to take than the Alice Cooper song "School's Out"? And so we were able to work. Luckily he lives here close, and I have some experience back in the music industry and knew who to call to get a hold of him. And so we had this amazing shoot in this awesome spot that was the Alice Cooper Gothic theme of things, and it was an amazing time. We had 8-foot yellow python and skeletons and all kinds of things. It was a great shoot. Definitely one of my highlights of my career. I think back on all the different kinds of clients that we worked with, most for a really long time. That we worked with Desert Financial for 18 years now. Harkins Theaters that we work with has been part of our company since I started. They were one of my founding clients. And Phoenix Children's Hospital, we worked with them for a really long time. Mayo Clinic, worked with them for a really long time. Done lots of just fun projects, whether it's working with the Arizona Cardinals and some of their players like Larry Fitzgerald, and we've done several spots with him. And had the Phoenix Coyotes for a couple seasons as a client. That was amazingly fun. Some big brand launches like Pop Chips. It's really cool to think back what we've worked on over the years, and super diverse. And I think I say this a lot, where I truly love what I do because I get to learn so much about different kinds of industries. And that's, I think, the best part about being in advertising, especially in the agency side of things, is you get to work on lots of different kinds every single day. You come in, you're working on meeting about a hospital, then you're meeting about a movie theater, and then you're meeting about a beer brand, and then you're meeting about a museum, and just thinking about restaurants and things like that we've done. So I get to be like a little bit of an expert in all those things, and that's, I think, probably the best part about having an agency and being in our world that we do.
And I think that just goes to show you really emphasize us wanting to get out into the community and just the scale of the clients that you worked with over the years, some very big ones, and then also even just small businesses. I think that just really shows the importance of just being involved in the community. And I think that's just awesome because it really inspires us to maybe one day just make those connections. And it's just like organically, not even just like forcing them, just like being out in the community and just getting to know everyone. And then you can slowly build those relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I think any business, we say this all the time to our clients, your reputation's everything. And I think our values of who we are as people is part of that. And when I moved to Phoenix, I thought I was going to be, I said, I'll go for a few years and then I'll go back to San Diego. But what I realized is that, in my kind of formative years in my late 20s, I just started getting involved with things, and I was just super passionate about getting to know the community and really reaching people and getting to know people and things like that. And so you just start getting involved with things, and next thing you know, you've got roots and you've got kids and a business and all that. But yeah, I think I hope I demonstrate and lead that kind of passion of the value of really giving back. We've done so much pro bono work over the years for causes that we all have a passion about. Our work with Phoenix Children's Hospital, was done at a discounted rate for a long time, just because we had a passion for it and trying to help kids and telling these amazing stories. And then, and we continue to do it now. Clients we have now at Arizona Science Center, is a passion of ours and mine, and just kind of how do you help that STEM cause and trying to get kids involved and inspired by those kinds of things. And we've grown those businesses, gotten clients because of those kinds of, being involved with those organizations. And it's, so it's a full circle.
Yeah. No, and I notice it firsthand, and I think Sam does as well. Like when we go to networking events or just when we talk to people about, who our clients are, who we work for, they always are like, oh, really? That's a very diversified client list you have. And then also like the projects we get to work on, it's not like cookie cutter for each, right? Each is like, maybe more media heavy or more creative heavy. So it's just really awesome to have that opportunity as well to work for such a diverse set of clients, because then you, like you said, you get to learn a little bit of everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, I started the agency and always said I really don't want to specialize. When we first started, home building was just exploding. This was before the recession, and there were agencies in town that only did home builders. It was because there were so many of them, and you could make a really good living with that. And I just didn't want to specialize in that. But I like the diversity. I'm a kind of a data junkie and love to read and learn and things like that. So having this diverse set of clients, I think complements our ability to help everyone. What we learn on one client, we can then bring that same learning to another client. And so, if you're stuck in one area, I would be worried that I would be missing out on something.
Yeah. Well, and also, growth comes from being uncomfortable, right? Going into maybe learning about new market, becoming experts in that market, and that's, I think, how you've been able to grow. It sounds like you like that, almost unknowing, but you have the skill set, how to advertise, how to market people, how to brand people, right? How to do PR. When you have that skill set, you're like, of course, like I can go into a new market that I haven't maybe approached before because, I have the skill set, and we go in together. And, I think that's the awesome thing with our clients is like we level set with them. We're like, we're really passionate about you. Like we're really passionate about your business. We know how to do all the things that you need. And let us learn with you. Let us like help you get to like the best outcome there is. And I think that's why Anderson has grown.
Yeah, I mean, I think what clients are looking for with an agency is to help them be better at what they're doing and help them expand kind of their knowledge base and the smart business doesn't know what they don't know, and they're aware of that, and so I think looking for an agency, looking for skills in our office, when we started, one of the unique things about the agency when we started is that we had in-house video production. Back then, people really didn't. They'd outsource. They'd hire a production company or something like that. And we had clients that were using video production, and so we had that in-house. Now, pretty much, I think almost every firm has at least one video person in-house because you can do it so easily now with all the software that's out there. So yeah, I mean.
Let's move on to our next image, Anderson culture. So this one is a part one, just talking about, how the agency has grown over the years and the accomplishments that your team has been able to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing, 20 years, is a long time. I'm the only one that's been here the whole 20 years. And it's fascinating to me when I look at our HR files, and seeing how many different employees have been with us since the beginning, and those that come and go, and I celebrate everyone that's left. I'm very proud of the fact that we've had very, very few employees that have ever left on any kind of a bad note. I'm usually really proud of them moving on and growing their career and going someplace. And I always say, being in the agency world, we're creatives, and we can have fun, and we can do cool and crazy things. And I think that's one of the kind of hallmarks of our office and our agency culture is, if you look at our social feed, and I love how much fun we have on our social feed. But the office, I was really intentional when I bought the building and built out our office to have hard surfaces on the floor so that we could have dogs, and so the dogs are a part of who we are, and I love that. Our awards. We have more awards now than we can even display, and that's a real tribute to the kind of the talent that we've had in our office and as part of our teams. And it's a tribute as well to the clients and the work that we do and what we're able to do. And so another one of the things about working at an agency is being able to have fun times and do those kinds of things, rather than being kind of a stuffy office where, people are not able to have fun and laugh.
It definitely helps with our creativity and our collaboration, just being in an office, and we all get along so well, and we're all friends.
Goodness. Yeah.
So it's like I can just literally go up to Maddie and just be like, hey, can we brainstorm on this? Let's talk about it. And I think that's great that we foster that environment where we can just go up to anybody and just be like, hey, let's talk about this. And then even just obviously having the dogs, I think is a great perk, because every time I see Pepper or Kaya or Ollie, I just get really excited.
I think it's just it's to me, it's one of those things. It's one of the things I really missed when we were remote during COVID, and it is that collaboration. And I think that's the nature of our business, is to collaborate, because you spin ideas off of one another, and I think that definitely is part of. From the very beginning, I was very intent on saying we are going to be an agency that really respects the work-life balance of our teams, and I think we accomplish that for the most part, unless someone personally wants to do that. So, we're not the agency that we're here till 10 o'clock at night. We don't really work on weekends. It's just those are the kinds of things that some people think about getting into the ad agency world, is like, oh God, it's going to work these long hours and things like that. We work hard, but also we're mindful of, what people are doing at home, and someone's here late. It's like, what are you doing? You're like, go home.
Yeah. You're respectful of time.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think also, just managing our workload and managing our timelines of what we're doing. And, it's like, if you're doing something late on a Friday, can't that wait till Monday? Yeah. So
I really, really appreciate that sentiment, Ted. I think that is an amazing sentiment to have as an agency owner, and that trickles down, right? From you saying that at the top, it really helps us then manage our workload better and help keep us accountable. And we feel comfortable coming to leadership being like, hey, this project or this client, there's a lot more than we thought there was. How can we work together? And that's the amazing thing, is there's not some hierarchy of, okay, you just buckle up and do it all, right? We really work together, and we try to cross collaborate where we can, which is really nice.
I think we're really fortunate. I think we're pretty intentional too on the clients that we do have and who we work with, and we've definitely parted ways with some clients that just was not a good fit, and culturally, and just how they their expectations and things like that. And so I think we're really mindful of kind of making sure that's the right fit for our teams, and you go into certain relationships with clients thinking the best, and next thing you know, you realize oh, that's not really how we want to do things, and just not. Maybe you should find somebody else.
Exactly.
So.
All right, picture number 4. So this one is culture part 2.
Part 2. All the fun things, Ted, that you've allowed the agency to do over the 20 years. I found this top image.
Did you find the video?
It is the Harlem Shake.
Yes,
Shake. I found the video.
Yeah.
I found that was on the server in the archives, deep in the Anderson archives.
Oh my God.
Please explain, Ted.
These cultural memes, the Harlem Shake, that was a theme that was going on. Everybody was doing these viral things. It's like the ice water challenge and that kind of stuff. And And so we were at our old office and came up like, hey, how do we do that? And so it's, oh my God, it's so funny. You should actually run this.
Honestly, it was you guys did a really good job. It was it really brought me back to high school. I was just like, whoa, I've been transported back.
Right.
My
back in
dorm
time.
did the Harlem Shake.
Oh, really?
And we even had the Today Show come out.
Oh my God.
You had the
did that?
Today
Yeah.
Show?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I want to
Al
find that
Roker
video.
came to my dorm.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I think always having things. I mean, outings and the Phoenix Open's always fun, and we had a softball team in the ad league for a while, and then just like the fun things that we do. It's like the basketball pool for the March Madness, and one of my absolute faves is our holiday videos that we've done. 14 of them now,
Yes.
and one was on ice.
No, but all this to say, when I was pulling it just shows like throughout the years, obviously maybe some of the things we do now for culture are a bit different, but we still do these fun things. Like you said, we did the March Madness, and we do like our Harkins Freezer outings, and we do spring training outings, like all of these things. Why was that important to you when starting Anderson?
I think we work really hard, and I think it's work hard and have fun. I think that's part of it too. It's also it's a part of the culture as well as wanting people to work here. And if new employees they're looking at us as a place that they might want to work, and they do their homework and they do their research, they'll see like, oh, that's an awesome place to work. They do lots of fun. And there's lots of agencies that do similar stuff to that. And I think I was inspired by seeing what other agencies do and saying, that's important. We should do that. It's not all just hard work and go home. It's like, hey, let's have some fun and lighthearted, and it keeps that. And I think I've heard this so many times over the years from employees and staff that, the culture is what keeps them here. They love coming to work. They like the people. We had an awesome holiday party this year, and you could just see the connection with everybody, and everybody was having a good time. I'm always super open-minded to any ideas. The Harlem Shake was definitely like, what if we did this? I'm like, I love that idea. Let's do it. Yeah.
And moving on to our next image, picture number 5. So this is just reflecting on, advertising and marketing trends over the years and just how the landscape has changed. I know we touched on that briefly, but just if you have any more, insight on, any reflection that you've done.
I mean, I think, this image, like you've got an image here showing, newspapers and magazines, and that world has just shrunk so much, and it's a little sad, but things have just changed, and change is good, and that just happens. And cinema advertising, we first started, there was barely any advertising. I remember going to see a movie in London in the late 80s, and it was like full on commercials, and they didn't have that here yet. And it was like, oh my God, there's commercials before the movie, and so like that started in like the late 90s. That started coming into being an avenue for us to put our clients on cinema advertising. But then really the game changer obviously is digital and phone and computers and things like that, and the internet, and that just has completely changed our world, and it's changed how we advertise and how we market to people, and how people get their information. So being able to watch, how people get email advertising, and I know I think the political world has completely ruined it, I'll say, from text message advertising to email advertising and things like that. But it's still super effective, and I think that's definitely the thing in the last 20 years and where we are today versus when I started, is the ability to really analyze what we're doing and how it's working, channel by channel, not necessarily like overall business wise. Because that's kind of what in the past it'd be like, basically, oh, like overall sales went up. That's great. Must be doing something right. Now we actually know what are we doing right and what are we not doing right? What's not working? And that's the thing we've focused so much on in our digital team and media team, is really attributing what's working and what's not. And you just couldn't do that in the way that we can do it now. And there's pros and cons to it. You can overanalyze it, and you can think that you can attribute every single little thing that, but you just, certain things are just more off general awareness and branding, and some are definitely direct more call to action, and you can track exactly what they're doing. But it's an overall ecosystem of how things work these days. And I think that's part of the fun that we get to do, is work with clients and look at their customers and clients, and how do they come to find that brand and connect with them, and how do we get, what messaging are we working that works well to motivate them to do those kinds of things. And I think things are changing, things are still evolving, things are still changing, new technologies and things like that, doing a social post the other day talking about AI. And I think, I don't think we truly don't know how big that impact can be. I feel like 2024 was the year that AI kind of landed, and I'm like, oh, whoa, AI. 2025, I think it really starts getting into our daily lives and how we're using it. And I also think that's going to be the dart of how we apply some of the ethical aspects of it, and where is it appropriate, where is it not appropriate, and also how is it borrowing other intellectual property from other channels and putting it into what the AI is producing, and what does that look like? So I think it's going to be a fascinating year to kind of see what happens.
Yeah. Even just looking about the landscape of where we started 20 years ago and where we are now, can you make any predictions of what the advertising world will look like in 20 years?
Jeez. I think things are just getting more and more personalized. I think things are getting more and more one-to-one. That I can send a message to exactly the type of person that I know is going to respond, that is already looking for that. And so I think in 20 years that technology will be even more so, and so I think the targeting is going to get even more granular, where you can really hone in on who you're doing, and so that then makes it more efficient, and so the waste and the budget will be more efficient. And I assume that's kind of where things are going, because we're getting close to that now. Being able to kind of target almost IP address down to that. But I also don't know. I have no idea. We don't know what's coming. I think that's there's some dark lab someplace that they're working on some cool technology that we don't even know is out there that is, do that. There's this movie Minority Report that I always remember back, because they incorporated some advertising things into it, where you walked into a store and the screen changed, customized to you. And it was like, and literally put your face on the clothes in the store. And it was like, and so I think we're definitely going to get there. That's the kind of stuff you'll start seeing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that something similar like that happening already in grocery stores, like Kroger, when they have like the digital ads throughout the store, that it's like especially if you have like a Kroger app or like the Fry's app, then they know your spending habits, they know what you're buying, so they literally change the digital ads as you're shopping throughout the store, so you can like have coupons for what you already buy. Yeah. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it gets a little scary. I think there's just definitely in my mind some privacy issues there. It's a blessing from an advertising perspective of, I know I'm reaching who I want to reach, and it's the curse of like, I'm really crossing some lines of knowing things about people that they probably aren't super comfortable that people really know that. And I think that's definitely one of the areas I think we're going to see some challenges in the future, and that can definitely impact what we're doing.
I absolutely agree.
All right, picture number 6. What is next? I guess we kind of already leaned into that a little bit.
But what's next for Andersen? We pulled this image from your Facebook. So this quote, if you don't mind reading it.
Satisfied customer is the best business strategy of all. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, it really is our goal with all of our clients. I think that is, like I said, reputation's everything, and wanting to make sure our clients are happy, and trying to look at what we're doing through the client's eyes is really one of my missions and values, is really trying to anticipate questions before they're asked, trying to make sure the client, doesn't even get to the point of wishing something was happening that we weren't doing for them or could do for them. And so I think that making sure the clients are satisfied and the work is productive and effective and efficient, and that to me, that drives happy clients, and happy clients drive more clients. And, I think that's where I see the agency heading in the future, is probably more clients, starting to think about what does the agency look like after me, and I think that's definitely on my mind quite a bit. And, I think having happy clients and having satisfied clients, and certain, focusing on certain verticals that we have really great stories to tell, will drive more clients, and hopefully, different places, different states, and we'll get more diverse, campaigns and things like that we're doing, and that more work also inspires our teams to be, happy and inspired, and they like what they're doing, and they're not doing the same thing over and over again.
Ted, Thank you so much for being here today and talking to us about reflecting on 20 years of Anderson Advertising. We've worked here for several years now, and we're excited for the next 20 years. We don't know what's in store, but we know that we're in good hands. So.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm just incredibly proud of everybody. I value each and every one of our teammates, and I hate using the word employees because we're part of a team, and we're family, and so it's like talk about our teams and everyone who's been part of our team. I think that's and I think everyone who's been on our team at any point along these last 20 years, and I'm grateful for so many of them, and most are still friends and really good. We have some that still come and go, and some that some move on, and some that refer business to us. And so I think that's a great kind of testament to what I've built and what we're doing.
Thank you for watching this episode of Anderson Ad Break. You can watch us on our YouTube channel and wherever you find your podcasts.
And make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all of our socials.
Anderson Ad Break is on all major platforms, so tune in wherever you get your podcasts or check out the video version of each episode on YouTube.
Like and subscribe to stay in the loop. You won't want to miss what's next.